We'll go ahead and call this regular meeting of the East Peoria City Council to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Here.
Hill?
Here.
Mingus?
Here.
Sutherland?
Here.
Mayor Call?
Here.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and every day. We are thankful for all the men and women patriots that have served our community and our country. Our world seems like it is a little chaotic at times. Let us remember, as written in 1 John, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Also during these times as we struggle to decide what to look to the Lord for counsel. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on October 18, 2020 be approved as printed.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any comments, discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Under communications, I have two proclamations. Whereas in the aftermath of the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, the American people demonstrated that in times of hardship, the values that define us do not simply endure, they are stronger than ever. And whereas, as a nation, we responded to unthinkable tragedy with an outpouring of service and goodwill, and whereas on that dark day, first responders rushed into a burning Pentagon and climbed the stairs of smoking towers on the verge of collapse, while citizens risked their own health and safety to prevent further heartbreak and destruction. And whereas, as Americans, we came together to help our country recover and rebuild. Today, we paid tribute to the selfless heroes and innocent victims of September 11, 2001, and we reaffirm the spirit of patriotism, service, and unity that we felt in the days and months that followed. And whereas we join in serving causes greater than ourselves and honoring those we lost, we are reminded of the ways that the victims of 9/11 live on, in the people they loved, the lives they touched, and the courageous acts they inspired. And whereas by a joint resolution approved December 18, 2001, Public Law 107-89, the Congress has designated September 11th of each year as Patriot Day. Now, therefore, I, John P. Call, Mayor of the City of East Peoria, do hereby proclaim September 11, 2020 as Patriot Day in the City of East Peoria and invite all citizens to participate in community service in honor of those our nation lost, to observe this day with appropriate ceremonies and activities, including remembrance services, and to observe a moment of silence beginning at 8:46 a.m. to honor the innocent victims who perished as a result of the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, and ask all businesses, schools, and agencies to display the flag of the United States at half-staff in honor of those individuals who lost their lives on September 11, 2001. So let us not forget, and I think this is extremely appropriate in the times we're facing in our nation today. So, secondly, whereas September is known around the United States as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, most of us are quite aware of suicide. National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month is intended to help promote and give attention to the suicide prevention services available to us and our community. The goal is to speak openly about the topic of suicide, to help erase the stigma surrounding it, and to direct those in need to the appropriate support services. And whereas suicidal thoughts can affect anyone regardless of age, gender, race, orientation, income level, religion, or background, and whereas, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, more than 48,000 people died by suicide in the year 2019. And whereas suicide is the 10th leading cause of death among adults in the U.S., and on average, there are 132 suicides a day, with most being middle-aged and older adults. And whereas East Peoria, Illinois is no different than any other community in the country, but chooses to publicly state and place our full support behind local educators, mental health professionals, athletic coaches, PAC leaders, police officers, and parents as partners in supporting our community and simply being available to one another. And whereas local organizations like Suicide Prevention Services, national organizations like the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and international groups like Hope for the Day are on the front lines of a war that many still refuse to discuss, as suicide and mental illness remain too uncomfortable of a topic to talk about. And whereas, especially during these trying times of isolation, every member of our community should understand that throughout life's struggles, we all need the occasional reminder that we're all fighting our own battles. And whereas I encourage all residents to take the time to check in with their family, friends, and neighbors on a regular basis and to honestly communicate their appreciation for their existence by any gesture they deem appropriate. A simple phone call, message, handshake, or hug can go a long way towards helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, John P. Call, Mayor of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2020 as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And this is another very fitting proclamation at a very difficult time in our country's history. And I will tell you, without a doubt, we have seen an uptick in suicides. So please heed the advice given in that proclamation and check in on your loved ones, because you never do know what's going on in someone's daily life. So that's it for the proclamations. Under public comment, anyone wishing to address the council on an agenda item, please step forward. I see no one. Consent agenda, Commissioner Hill.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt a consent agenda consisting of items numbered 1 through 4. Item number 1, adoption of resolution number 2021-041, resolution to approve payment of the scheduled bills listed on schedule number 8 in the amount of $6,882,180.36. Item number 2, adoption of ordinance number 4515 on the second reading, an ordinance authorizing a special use for property located at 2250 East Washington Street in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois. Special use to allow for outdoor parking and storage of vehicles for operation of U-Haul rental facility. Item number 3, adoption of ordinance number 4516 on its second reading, an ordinance authorizing a special use of property located at 400 Cimarron Drive in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois. Special use for an oversized accessory building on the property Zone C Conservation and Residential Estate District. Item number 4, adoption of ordinance number 4517 on its second reading, an ordinance authorizing an additional special use for the property located at 400 Cimarron Drive in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois. Special use to allow for keeping of certain livestock, being horses, on their property Zone C, Conservation and Residential Estate District, as listed on the agenda for this meeting to be considered by omnibus vote.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that items numbered 1 through 4 listed on the consent agenda be hereby approved and adopted, and items numbered 2 through 4, having been read once by their title and having laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mangus. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have several items tonight. Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4514 hereto attached, an ordinance establishing special service area 2019A in the city of East Peoria and approving special service area 2019A project to improve Access Road 6, the funding of road improvements to Access Road 6, and the levying of property tax against those properties benefited by the road improvements. Having been read once by its title and having laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
This is the second reading, and we've read, again, I think it was a renewal coming around. The special service areas for Access Road 6, and it started back in September of 2019. Public hearing was held in November of 2019, a 60-day waiting period allowing for any complaints to be written against the special service area, and then it was approved then, and due to construction delays, we had to bring this back and run it through a second approval. So this has been approved once before, and the work, to my understanding, has definitely been started, if not nearing completion. I haven't checked on it myself.
Well said. Comments from the council? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Whereas a vacancy exists on the East Peoria Zoning Board of Appeals as a result of Michael McCarthy's resignation, and whereas the Honorable Mayor John P. Call has recommended the appointment of Don Tippett to fill the vacancy of the Zoning Board of Appeals, now therefore be resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that the appointment by Mayor John P. Call of Don Tippett to the East Peoria Zoning Board of Appeals to fill the unexpired term ending April 30th, 2023.
May I have a second, please? Or you're not finished, are you?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I move you that resolution number 2021-040 be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
And as the resolution stated, we have a vacancy coming as a result of Mr. McCarthy's resignation. And so we have Don Tippett, here, a resident of East Peoria, that's been nominated for this, recommended for this appointment. He's obviously local, he's an architect, and so we welcome him to the ZBA if approved.
Don, you mind putting your hand up for those of us that haven't officially met you yet?
Thank you very much.
First of all, thank you for your willingness to serve our city. We do appreciate it, and I know you'll do a good job, and you and Ty are well acquainted with each other, so we look forward to having you on the Zoning Board of Appeals, sir. Thank you.
Mayor, I've known Don for quite a while. We're band dads together. We work on the props and move them around, and it's actually my fault that I didn't talk with you about him, I think a year ago or so. Don mentioned that he would like to become part of it, and it just so happened that we were talking again about a month ago, and the next day I saw you. So perfect timing. There was a vacancy, and I think he'll do a great job.
Well said. Other comments? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4518 here to attach, an ordinance authorizing participation by the City of East Peoria in the local coronavirus urgent remediation emergency support program be read at length by the clerk, and that said ordinance number 4518 be accepted on its first reading and hereby adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. Ms. Morgan?
Whereas the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, the city is an Illinois municipality eligible for reimbursement of funds through the local coronavirus urgent remediation emergency support program, local cure program pursuant to 20 ILCS 605/605 to 1045. And whereas the local cure program is funded from financial assistance the state of Illinois received through the U.S. Department of Treasury's Coronavirus Relief Fund, CFDA number 21.019, authorized under Section 601A of the Social Security Act, as added by Section 5001 of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, PL 116 to 136 CARES Act. And whereas as a local government recipient of financial support through the Local Cure Program, the city is required to utilize the financial support received from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the department, for the specific purposes and in compliance with the terms and certifications of the Local Cure Program. And whereas the corporate authorities of the city have determined that it is advisable, necessary, and in the best interest of the city to enter into the attached Local Cure Program financial support conditions and certification attached hereto as Exhibit A, incorporated by reference, in order to participate in and receive the funding pursuant to the Local Cure Program. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Section 1, the foregoing recitals are hereby found to be true and correct and are hereby incorporated herein. Section 2, the financial support conditions and certification in substantially the form as set forth in attached Exhibit A is hereby authorized and approved, and any prior act taken by the mayor or any other city official to approve and execute the financial support conditions and certifications documents hereby further ratified. Section 3, the mayor is hereby authorized to execute and deliver, and the city clerk is hereby authorized to attest to said execution of said certification in substantially the form set forth in Exhibit A, together with such changes therein as the city attorney and the mayor in his discretion may deem appropriate. Section 4, severability. If any provision of this ordinance or application thereof to any person or circumstances is ruled unconstitutional or otherwise invalid, such invalidity shall not affect other provisions or applications of this ordinance that can be given effect without the invalid application or provision, and each invalid provision or invalid application of this ordinance is severable. Section 5, repeal of conflicting provisions. All ordinances and resolutions or parts thereof in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance are, to the extent of the conflict, expressly repealed on the effective date of this ordinance. Section 6, effective date. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon the date of its passage, approval, in the manner provided by law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. What we have here is I think everybody's very much aware of the CARES Act, the federal funding that was for coronavirus aid relief. So there was monies that were in that act that came from that act. And unless your municipality was a certain size, you did not get a direct allocation. And the monies that we're talking about here, that there were only 5 counties in the state of Illinois that got direct monies, and the rest of was put in a pool given to the state and then allocated out based on population. And so that's the name that the local cure program is, the execution of the federal monies that were given to state and given to municipalities to cover coronavirus-related expenses. So what we have here is there was a certification letter required, and the mayor's already executed that as of August 12th of 2020, so earlier this past month. And then the Illinois Municipal League came along and suggested that municipalities have an ordinance created, and so that's what we're doing tonight. And this ordinance is authorizing the mayor to execute that local cure program, which is giving us access to our allotment was the amount of $965,403. And the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity is managing this, and so all expenses have to be submitted through that program to them and either approved by them in order to get reimbursed. And so that's what this ordinance is all about.
Well said. Comments from the council?
It is a little frustrating, I think, that, at least for me, that some counties immediately get these funds distributed and others have to do things to grab the funds. It is frustrating. It is, I think all counties were affected by it. All communities were affected by it in one way or another. And certainly something that has created big holes in our budgets. I guess on a positive note, it was nice to hear the CDC recently spoke about the difference in some of the more serious infection rates. So hopefully we continue to get good reports about things like that.
Yeah. Other comments? No comment? Well, I'll make a couple of comments. Yeah, this is nothing more than a formality. We executed the certification letter, which was required. I just think people need to understand from a local government perspective, there is no bailout for local government, so please understand that. These federal dollars that went to the state that we're speaking of, the state, as we sit here and talk about it, has not yet gone through a reimbursement process because they're still redefining what rules they want to put in place to regulate the expenses that qualify or don't qualify. So people need to understand, although East Peoria, our portion of that federal funding would equate to $965,000 as it stands now. What's deemed to be truly COVID expenses that qualify under the current state guidelines, we'll be lucky to get $50,000 of it. So I've reached out personally to our local representatives to try to seek their help in loosening up the restrictions that the state has on these monies. Not sure where it's going to land. This program goes through the end of December of this year. So we're hoping, not ruling anything out, but we're hoping they provide some relief with those additional leftover monies, but that's yet to be determined. So I just think it's important to note, we get a lot of questions on our end about the city finances, and our revenue shortfalls are not a qualified expense, and it's an enormous amount. So that's where we stand, and I thought I'd point that out. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have tonight.
Very good. Commissioner Decker.
Yes, Mayor, I have two items. First of all, resolution number 2021-039. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, the resolution number 2021-039 hereto attached, a resolution requesting permission for temporary closure of state-maintained roadways for a public event for the Festival of Lights Parade on November 21st, 2020 be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 2021-039 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. Fortunately now, for 30 years plus, we've been able to have the parade come through East Peoria, and even though this has been a rough, bad year for many things, we are still moving forward, hopefully at this point, to provide some joy and some, I don't know, an upward look for our community. So important. And we do this every year. We could close one of our roads if we want to or need to without any problem. But when it comes to the state routes, we have to ask for permission. And they've always been good about that. I don't think they've ever given us a problem on this. So hopefully this will go without a hitch as well. Looking forward to the parade this year, just because I'm just looking forward to better days.
Well said. Comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, Mayor, a little bit longer one. Resolution number 2021-043, resolution granting a temporary easement to the East Peoria Sanitary District to facilitate work on Farm Creek. Whereas the United States Army Corps of Engineers is preparing to cause maintenance work to be performed on Farm Creek. And whereas maintenance of Farm Creek is vital to the well-being of the East Peoria community, and whereas Farm Creek Waterway is owned by and is the responsibility of the East Peoria Sanitary District, and whereas to avail itself of the assistance of the Corps, the Sanitary District needs a temporary easement over the property owned by the City of East Peoria City and described in Exhibit A hereto attached. And whereas the Corps requests the city to waive an appraisal and compensation for the granting of a temporary easement, and whereas the Corps will require any contractor performing the work on Farm Creek to restore the property owned by the city to its original condition, and whereas it is therefore in the best interest of the city to grant the Sanitary District a temporary easement as described in Exhibit A without compensation to facilitate work on Farm Creek. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Section 1, the above recitation are found to be true and correct. Section 2, the mayor and city clerk are authorized and directed to execute a temporary easement substantially conforming to Exhibit A. Section 3, the mayor and city clerk are further authorized and directed to execute such other documents as and shall be necessary to facilitate work on Farm Creek under the auspices of the Corps. Mr. Mayor, I move you that resolution number 2021-043 be adopted as presented.
I have a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mangus.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. was a lot of reading, say that
It's a mouthful.
there's a section of the Farm Creek that's going to be worked on. The work is going to be overseen by the Army Corps of Engineers. That section is going to be from Clock Tower down toward the river by, the building, Batteries Plus, in that area. Even though the Corps is going to be overseeing the work, the sanitary district itself, the overseer of that is the sanitary district. To access that property, they are asking for our assistance and the ability to work through our property or on our property. And of course, we need the sanitary district to take good care of that levee. So I'm absolutely in support of this, Mayor.
Well said. Comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sutherland?
Mayor, I have nothing tonight.
Okay, you'll save your comments for later.
Sure.
Commissioner Mangus?
I have 2 items tonight, Your Honor. Both of them I've got to read. First, resolution number 2021-038, resolution authorizing temporary increase in the number of lieutenants on the East Peoria Fire Department. Whereas Title I, Chapter 5, Section 2.1 of the East Peoria City Code authorizes the City Council to determine from time to time by resolution the number of individuals that hold each rank of the East Peoria Fire Department. And whereas in December 2018, pursuant to resolution number 1819-106, the city temporarily increased the number of firefighters on the fire department by 3 to a total of 33 firefighters in an effort to minimize overtime costs in the fire department. And whereas, in accordance with resolution number 1819-106, a temporary increase of 33 in the number of firefighters in the fire department that was approved in December 2018 will then decrease back down to 30 through attrition of members leaving the fire department after April 30th, 2020. And whereas pursuant to resolution number 1920-131, approved in April 2020, the temporary increase in the number of firefighters in the fire department to 33 was extended through April 30th, 2021. Whereas a firefighter in the lieutenant capacity is anticipated to move to inactive status in the near future. And whereas pursuant to resolution number 2021-036, approved in August 2020, the number of firefighters in the fire department was temporarily increased to 34 due to this lieutenant's anticipated move to inactive status in the near future. And whereas it is in the best interest of the city of East Peoria to now temporarily increase the total number of individuals holding the rank of lieutenant in the East Peoria Fire Department by 1 from 9 to 10 until the anticipated change in status of this lieutenant to inactive status. And whereas with the promotion of a firefighter to the additional lieutenant position in the East Peoria Fire Department, the number of firefighters in the East Peoria Fire Department will then be reduced back to 33. And whereas it is in the best interest of the city that after the anticipated change in the status with this lieutenant to inactive status in the near future, the total number of lieutenants in the fire department be reduced back to 9. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Section 1, effective immediately, the Fire Department of the City of East Peoria shall consist of the following personnel: 1 fire chief, 3 assistant fire chiefs, 10 lieutenants, 33 firefighters, 1 paid on-call firefighter. Section 2, subject to any further action by the City Council effective after the anticipated change in status of lieutenant in the near future, the Fire Department of the City of East Peoria shall consist of the following personnel: 1 fire chief, 3 assistant fire chiefs, 9 lieutenants, 33 firefighters, 1 paid on-call firefighter. Section 3, subject to further action by the City Council effective on April 30th, 2021, pursuant to resolution number 1920-131, the Fire Department of the City of East Peoria shall consist of the following personnel upon attrition to the staffing levels established in this resolution: 1 fire chief, 3 assistant fire chiefs, 9 lieutenants, 30 firefighters, 1 paid on-call firefighter. Mr. Mayor, I move you resolution number 2021-038 be adopted as presented.
Have second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. This is very similar to the resolution that I read and we approved last council meeting. Basically, we have a lieutenant who it's anticipated that he's going to go into inactive status. We also have a firefighter who's an acting lieutenant temporarily. He's been promoted temporarily to lieutenant, whose temporary promotion is about to run out. So in order to have things operate smoothly, we're going to temporarily increase our lieutenants from 9 to 10. And then we'll then be decreasing our firefighters from 34 to 33. And then when our firefighter goes on, the current lieutenant goes on inactive status, we'll be back down to 9, and we will keep our firefighters at 33. So nobody is hired. We're basically, we're not increasing the number of people in the fire department. We're just moving them around a little bit in order to operate efficiently.
Well said, and there will be a test after the meeting. Just kidding.
I've got another one very similar to read, so.
Yeah. Comments from the council?
Mayor, I think it probably could, although just an abundance of caution. Due to my position and my employment with the fire department, I'm going to stay out of this one and abstain from it.
Understood. Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Abstain.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
And 4 ayes and 1 abstention, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was already starting to read this one in my head. My next resolution, resolution number 2021-042, resolution authorizing temporary increase in the number of sergeants on the East Peoria Police Department. Whereas Title I, Chapter 3, Section 7.1 of the East Peoria City Code authorizes the City Council to determine from time to time by resolution the number of individuals who hold each rank in the police department. Whereas one of the sergeants has informed the city of his pending retirement from the East Peoria Police Department effective in October 2020, but beginning on August 31st, 2020, this sergeant will be on leave until his retirement date. And whereas the command staff of the police department seek the promotion of another permanent sergeant to replace the retiring sergeant, and when the retiring sergeant retires, the number of sergeants will be returned to the current staffing level. And whereas the promotion of sergeant into a permanent position will provide better command consistency and efficiency for the police department during the retiring sergeant's period of leave prior to retirement. And whereas it is in the best interest of the city of East Peoria to temporarily increase the total number of individuals holding the rank of sergeant on the East Peoria Police Department from 6 to 7 effective immediately. And whereas it is in the best interest of the city that after the sergeant's retirement in October 2020, the city of East Peoria decrease the total number of individuals holding the rank of sergeant on the East Peoria Police Department from 7 to 6. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Section 1, effective immediately, the staffing level for the Police Department of the City of East Peoria shall consist of the following personnel: 1 police chief, 2 deputy chiefs, 7 sergeants, 34 patrolmen. Police chief is hereby authorized and directed to notify the Police and Fire Commission of the temporary increase in sergeants and to request the Police and Fire Commission undertake the process of appointing a sergeant to fill the position hereby created. Section 3, effective on the retirement of the sergeant in October 2020, the staffing level for the Police Department of the City of East Peoria shall return to the following personnel: 1 police chief, 2 deputy chiefs, 6 sergeants, 34 patrolmen. Mr. Mayor, I move you that resolution number 2021-042 be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Is that you, Commissioner Decker?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Very similar, or I guess not very similar, but a similar situation here. We have a sergeant who is going to retire. He'll be on leave prior to his retirement, so we are going to bring another sergeant up, which will temporarily increase our number of sergeants during the period that sergeant is on leave before retirement. The difference in this is we will be bringing back a police officer who during the budget, during our budget cuts was laid off, and so we're excited to bring that individual back and have him join the force, or rejoin the force.
Very good. Well said. Comments from the council?
Yeah, just to add, I'm very happy that we're finally being able to bring back that one officer that we had to cut as part of our budget. So I'm also happy to see that.
Yep. Other comments? Hearing none. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Public comment. Anyone wish to address the council on a non-agenda item? Anything you want to talk to or say to the council, please step forward. Gina? Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Gina Burr, Director of Fond du Lac Library. I often visit the council meeting in September to encourage people to get their library cards, as it is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. And while I still do encourage everyone to register or renew their cards, I'd also like to thank you for allowing me a moment to share some other additional library news for the community. On behalf of our Library Board of Trustees, I'm excited to announce that the library is now officially an overdue fine-free library. At last night's meeting, our board revised library policies to stop the assessment of overdue fines for items checked out at our library and approved clearing of all outstanding overdue fines on items checked out at the library from patrons' accounts, and that's effective today. We're making these changes to provide the community with more equitable access to library materials and services. Studies have shown that overdue fines do not motivate borrowers to return materials on time and actually make people less likely to visit or return to the library. Eliminating fines as a financial barrier expands access, services, and benefits to the East Peoria community. Patrons, of course, are still expected to adhere to loan periods and return and renew their items on time, and they're still responsible if they lose the items or damage the items. Our staff has put together a very informative frequently asked questions on our website, and of course, at the library, our staff are always happy to answer any questions. But this is a very big change for the library, and so I wanted to make sure that we could share that with as much of the community as possible. Thanks again for allowing me to share this exciting news.
All right, thanks, Gina. Appreciate it. Anyone else wish to address the council? Yes, sir.
Udo Dreyer, 221 Twin Oaks Court.
Yes, sir.
If we have to do something to the ditches, either raise the sides or dig the ditches deeper. I'm 84 years old and I just moved in the last 5 days 10 tons of clay, so that tells you where the water goes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
At 85 is not that easy to shovel every day, there's on a certain level.
Well, I got to tell you, you're in great shape for your age. You look good, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You got to eat right, don't eat at McDonald's.
Yeah. We appreciate you.
I'm a certified chef besides. I'm the last chef at the Paramount Gate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dan, you took note of that.
I did. I
Okay.
did.
Very good. Anyone else wish to address the council on a non-agenda item? Seeing no one. Very good. We'll go comments from the council. Commissioner Decker.
I appreciate him standing and saying that. We have quite a few requests right now for ditches and completely agree. We're trying to. Sure. No, I'm glad you did. We, and not daily, but almost, we get requests for that. Over the past probably 5 to 10 years, we've had kind of a battle at times. We allow people to maintain their yards, and some choose to try to plant in their ditches and things like that, and we always warn them that if we ever need to, unfortunately, whatever you put in there, we will clean out. So we certainly don't give permission of people to fill in their ditches, but some choose to. And they're pretty upset sometimes when we come along and remove those things. However, it's necessary because of the water has to go a certain, it has to get to where it's supposed to go, and the ditches are the way it does that. So I did take note of your property. I talk with Rick often, and I'll make sure that he knows about yours. I want to mention the Vietnam Wall again for another month. The 23rd of September is when it's coming into town, and 24th is the opening ceremony. We have a flyer here in front of me. I had Jill print this for me today, but the reason one thing I want to stress tonight is tonight at midnight is the last night if you would like recognition for any donation, any sponsorship, then it needs to be in by midnight tonight. We'll certainly accept and appreciate any donations after tonight. However, obviously, some would like to have their names on some of our brochures and the signage and things, and I understand that. So tonight at midnight is the last opportunity to guarantee that your names will be placed on our signage. But one thing I've failed to do when I've talked about this in the past, if someone would rather send a check, money order in, they can mail it to P.O. Box 2817, East Peoria, Illinois. And those that choose to go online, you can actually go online this evening still. It is eastpeoriacommunityfoundation.org. And like I said, tonight is the cutoff for that. I don't want to miss the opportunity to say this. We have done excellent. The community has been extremely supportive, and not just our community. We've received checks from a ways away in the state, and they've been very supportive. And we believe we have covered the expenses. I hate to say that because with the event coming up, you never know if there's going to be things that we'll need to purchase for the event. But we believe that the expenses have at least, if they've not been completely covered, I think they're very close, but I believe they have. Having said that, we, from the very beginning, have said that anything in excess that we get when the event is completely over, we will give the remaining funds to the Central Illinois Honor Flight to allow veterans to the opportunity to go out to Washington, D.C. to actually see the monuments for themselves. But it is going to be a really nice event. The mayor's come to most of the meetings, and I really appreciate that. We're talking about having, not going to have a lot of activities. I mean, the wall is the reason it's good enough. But we are going to have an opening ceremony. It's going to be at noon on the 24th. And if you've ever heard of Hal Fritz, he is Harold Fritz is his name. He is a Medal of Honor recipient, lives in Peoria, Illinois. If you get the opportunity to read his bio, it's pretty amazing what he did in Vietnam. Certainly deserves the Medal of Honor, and it's going to be a joy to listen to him speak. So he's going to be our keynote speaker. Also, Clayton Mushan from East Peoria is going to be a guest speaker as well. We're certainly excited for the event, and I think there's one more meeting before the event, so I'm sure I'll talk about it at least one more time. That's all I have, Mayor.
No problem. Commissioner Hill.
Yes, I want to get way out ahead of a electronic recycling sponsored by the Tazewell County Health Department. It's going to be at the festival building October 10th from 8 till noon. Now, the electronics that can be dropped off are numerous and many, but I do want to forewarn, there are certain electronics that there is a charge or small fee, and some of those are some common items as far as CRT or computer monitors and flat screen TVs. And, those are, computer monitors are about $10, and the TVs, CRT TVs and flat screen go up to $20, and then the projection and console will cost as much as $40. But any other electronic besides those are free, digital converter boxes, computers and faxes and the like, keyboards and the like. There's a list of over 30 items that are free. So I want to get out, we're very early, so that's October 10th at the festival building from 8 till noon. The farmer's market, you've heard me all summer long remind you of the farmer's market on Fridays from 4 to 7. This is the last month. The farmer's market will go through, it has really actually 4 more weeks, so it has the month of September, and then we'll close up. It's been a great summer and a lot of activity out there, so again, I encourage you to come up for that. And again, lastly, I want to welcome Don Tippett to the Zoning Board of Appeals. That was a zoning board was where I started. I was there for 19 years, so welcome the new blood, and having your background as an architect will be a great addition to the team. So welcome aboard, and that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sutherland?
Yes, I got a couple things I'd like to touch base on. I'm going to use the G word. I'm a gun owner. I try to do it as safely as possible, and I would never use it unless somebody came into my home that was uninvited that shouldn't be there. There's been quite a few break-ins, if I'm not mistaken, most of them in East Peoria have been happening around the Highview area. A friend of mine told me that, and this is coming from him, so if I'm off a little bit, I'm off a little bit, but I'm probably not, that a thief walked through his garage and into his house, picked up his car keys, and stole his car. He's probably lucky he wasn't awake. I'm up all night most of the time. I don't sleep well. So I don't think he would have left my home with my car keys. His car was found in Peoria, and it wasn't for profit because his car was torn up pretty good and left. And it's not the only one that's happened here in town, and hopefully it'll be the last one. And if you do have a gun like I do, please use it properly and safely to protect yourself. But when the guy that's not supposed to be in your house is in your house, there's not a policeman standing beside him. So I'm going to say, if you do it right, do it. Next thing, on a lighter note, Cord Chrysler kept his promise. We now have a water salesman. What this is a way to load water into the back of your pickup truck or a tanker truck. You can go buy 250, 500 gallon and up containers, like for instance at Farm and Fleet. And you can go buy 100 gallons of water for 25 cents. There's a coin slot. You put your money in, your 25 cents, and you get your 100 gallons out. This is pure water, processed by the city. It's people that are having problems with filling their swimming pool up and having high sewer bills because they match each other gallon per gallon. They have a way out of it now. I don't know if it's going to be really convenient for some people that don't own a pickup truck, but it makes it really convenient for people that have water haulers to just come down to East Peoria, down to the Public Works Building, and it's toward the Felipe side of the Public Works Building. You'll find it there. It's great for pools and if a well runs dry, or for your gardens if you have a way to hold 100 gallons or more. And this just isn't for the residents of East Peoria. This is for anybody that needs it. We're open for business, and I think we'll do well, and I think it's going to be good for the community. That's it, I'm done.
Mike, what's the lowest amount someone can get from that? Is there a minimum?
100 gallons. So if you want to go for a swim, bring a container less than 100 gallons, and you will be wet.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Mingus.
I have 3 quick items, Your Honor. One, I wanted to, today at 10 o'clock, we welcomed 2 new firefighters, East Peoria Fire Department, and I wanted to publicly welcome them. Brandon Brown is one of them, and Anthony Hesken, or Hesket, I hope I pronounced his last name correctly. I know the chief obviously announced him when we swore him in. Commissioner Decker, did I say his last name correctly? Do you know?
I think it's Heskett, but now you have me second guessing.
Well,
I think you guys have already slaughtered it.
so I apologize to him right now, but I want to welcome both of them to the fire department. We are happy to have them. Kind of on the same note, Brandon's dad, Brett Brown, was a deputy chief here as recently as this calendar year, and I found out today that he was sworn in to be the fire chief of Washington Fire Department, so I wanted to publicly congratulate him on that, and I think that's pretty cool that father and son both were sworn in the positions on the same day. And the third thing is, just wanted to remind everybody that we have car seat checks tomorrow from 1 to 4 at Central House, and anybody who wants to get their car seat checked out is welcome to come down there.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Just a few points to make. I'm going to dovetail off of Commissioner Sutherland's comments. These thefts that have been happening in East Peoria are up off the Highview area in the neighborhoods off of Highview. I think it's around the 1600 block. The police department did post this on our social media sites to share this, to make our residents aware. And I just want to let people know, to calm your nerves a little bit, and maybe the commissioner didn't know this, none of these have been forced entry. This is why we're encouraging people, lock your cars and lock your homes, because none of them to date anyway, knock on wood, have been forced entry. They've all been through cars and residents that have not been secured. So we encourage everyone to be vigilant, and we're going to make a point anytime we have a spree like this, we'll be sure to let the public know, just so you're aware of it. 2020 census, I've been harping on this all summer. My time's running short. The deadline is September 30th. East Peoria is a little bit above the curve from a state perspective, but at the end of the day, I cannot stress the importance and how critical the census is for our funding and our representation. So for those of you that have not completed your 2020 census, please get that finished. The deadline is September 30th. So we will also, at the farmers market beginning this Friday, have some representatives to assist people. If you've not, come down to the farmers market this Friday evening, and we'll have some folks there to help you complete your census forms. Lastly, we've talked about this in the past. We will have a scheduled working session on September 15th at 5:30 p.m., and we are inviting the representatives that comprise the East Peoria Drainage and Levee District Board. Those three entities will be representatives from CAT, T&P Railroad, and Ameren. And as what we've asked them to do is what we did probably 2 years ago at a neighborhood meeting down in Richland, and that's to explain what the East Peoria Drainage and Levee District is. It's its own entity, and it's more of a informational, if you will, working session to help residents that fall within this area, which is down here, better understand the dynamics and what the responsibilities of that board are and how that funding works, because they pay a levy tax, and I know historically for a number of years, most people thought that that came from the city, and that's from this district. So we've invited those folks to do a working session, and they've graciously taken us up on that, so we look forward to that. I'm just giving people notice, so those that want to attend, mark your calendars. And that is all I have for this evening. I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn until Tuesday evening, September 15th, 2020, at 6 p.m.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Very good. We are adjourned until we meet again. Thank you all for coming.